Welcome to the Video Creators Podcast. We help YouTube creators grow their audience and business with next-level tactics and strategies. Want to accelerate your channel's momentum, be more profitable, and change the lives of more people than ever before? You're in the right place. The Video Creators team has over a decade of experience providing YouTube strategy for brands like Disney, Warner Brothers, HBO, and even YouTube themselves. So far, our team is responsible for helping clients generate over 17 billion views on YouTube. And now, to help you, here's Tim, Lennon, and Delana.
Hello creators, how are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for a Just for Fun Video Creators Podcast episode. I feel like sometimes we're all like giving you information, trying to help you out, move forward with the roadblocks you're facing on your YouTube channel, helping you grow your businesses, and that is all good. And we will certainly do that here in this episode. But I went to Twitter, went to our community tab, and I just asked the people who follow me there, what are the conspiracy theories that you've heard about YouTube that you would love to have answered? And I told them, actually, let me just read it to you because this is, I have not told Lennon and Delana here what the actual tweet said. I just kind of told them what the theme was. I said, what are some of the conspiracy theories you hear about YouTube? I'd love to spring some of them on Lennon and Delana in our podcast later today and see how they react. Little angel emoji. So some of these are just off the wall. I have not heard of some of these before. And some of them are totally legitimate questions that I think we should address too. So it'll be a little bit of fun here, a little bit of like, okay, good. That actually helps me with my YouTube channel. And talking about view velocity, talking about posting velocity and how many days YouTube takes to do this and that, and smaller channels versus bigger channels. And it'll be a good conversation for sure. So I'm excited to dive into that here with you guys today. If you haven't met Lennon and Delana yet, they are two strategists here on our team here at Video Creators. They work with our clients, work with creators, just helping them blast through the roadblocks. So I need a different word than roadblocks. But anyway.
Well, I liked your emphasis there. That was good.
Roadblocks. It's like a boom. No airbags or anything. Just crashing through it. So I don't know. I should let you guys talk here before this gets any worse. How are you guys doing? What's going on at the Delana Hunt Hut and the Lennon Bone Abode?
I feel like it's become a thing now, so I'm going to update you guys on what I'm drinking from Starbucks now, and you have to try their brown sugar oat milk latte. No,
hashtag
it's not a
sponsored.
latte. Not hashtag not sponsored, but Starbucks sponsor us. And I'll do a whole Starbucks haul on this podcast. People do hauls on podcasts. That'd be funny.
I don't know. You know, my very first attempt at coffee was a Starbucks latte, and it did not go well for me.
Yeah, that's just like jumping off the deep end, Tim. You gotta ease into it a little bit.
It just tasted like burnt water to me. So.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Okay, but yeah, brown sugar oat milk. If you haven't tried it, I don't know if it's a seasonal thing or not, but I've been buying it like every day, guys. It's kind of expensive, but it's so
you're
good.
getting out of the house every day. That's good.
I am.
That's good. Yeah, that's more than I can say.
Thank you, Lennon.
How are you doing, Lennon?
Good. We're talking about conspiracy theories, and it made me think of this show that we've gotten into called Only Murders in the Building. Have you guys heard about this at all? So it's
sounds like prison.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. And the idea is that they are really into murder mystery podcasts. And there's a murder that happens in their building. And so they're trying to start their own murder mystery podcast around their sleuthing of this thing. And it's super good. It's super addictive. Of course, like, you know, it's just cool to see Steve Martin and Martin Short doing something like where they're at now in their age bracket that's relevant. And like, I don't know, I'm loving it. So that's what we've been doing, binge watching that show. So if you want to check it out, I would highly recommend it. I think it's on Hulu. and they release new ones every Tuesday night. So have a new one coming
tonight.
up here.
Well, my first speaking attempt since COVID went well. It was fun to be around people again. I think my favorite part, though, is just meeting with people, talking with them one-on-one. And one of the things that FinCon does, Personal Finance Con, it's a conference for personal finance bloggers and influencers. And they expect all their speakers to do a mentorship with one of the participants there. And this year, I got the same person that I worked with last time, actually, which is great. So we get to do like a little follow-up, catch up and stuff, and help this girl. She has a budgeting blog and YouTube channel. And it's just fun to hear the stories of like all the growth and success. She's making more money and doing better now than she's ever done in her life. Her goal was to hit substantially less money than this in a longer amount of time, and it's been quicker, and she's grown faster. And so I can't really take credit for that. I mean, I met with her for like an hour, so
take the credit, Tim. Like, take it and run.
She did all the work. We had a meeting right when she was quitting her other job because they had a baby on the way, and she was leaving that job and had to turn this to replace that income, and she's more than replaced it now. So it's just been fun to see those follow-up stories. So yeah, that was exciting. Yeah. Len and Delaney, you guys ready for this? This is gonna be fun. Okay. So I asked for the conspiracy theories, and this is what I heard. Some of them we can answer. Some of them we probably can't. But
do we get to lie?
Do you want to create more conspiracy theories? We can do that.
That's right. Yeah. Can I weave myself somehow into these conspiracy theories? I think that would be exciting.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's pick some of our own here. So I'm just going through them in no particular order, just the order they came in on Twitter and the community tab on YouTube. First one is from CZ's World on Twitter. They no longer have / never hired the 1,000, quote, human reviewers in 2017. Nobody in the industry knows one of these reviewers, who one of them are, or what their process looks like. I'm like, oh, you're right, actually. I've never met one of those 10,000 people either. So maybe they don't have any human reviewers. I don't know, but I can see how that could be a theory, because whenever you reach out for a human review, it takes a really long time if you get one. So I can see where this one's coming from.
Well, to that point, though, if there's only 10,000, how many videos go up every day?
500 minutes or 500 hours a minute. So like years. Yeah.
So, I mean, 10,000 in the scheme of like how much content is being uploaded is probably minuscule. Those poor people.
Yeah. Well, they're not reviewing every video. It's just the videos
I know,
that
but
YouTube
still,
system.
you would think that there'd be a lot of complaints in that with that kind of content going up. I don't know, maybe not, but that's fascinating. That's a good one. I'm like,
you're gonna get sucked into these, aren't you?
Oh, they are.
Like your next consultation, you'll be like, "Did you know?"
I mean, I'm a big like Sasquatch proponent and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. So you're right in my wheelhouse right now, Tim.
Oh, all right, cool. Well, the next one is from Josh Stryker on Twitter. I gotta give some context, because not everyone might not know what's going on right now with Twitch and YouTube. You guys hear the kind of drama around Twitch, with a lot of the creators there are going on strike and taking a week off from streaming because of this issue where someone will, when they send, at the end of their stream, they send all their audience to go crash another streamer's. And usually it's positive. Like, everyone go there, we're going to be, and then like instantly this little streamer's got like 18,000 people all watching, and it like makes their life, makes their world, makes their day, their eating, like whatever, right? So it's usually an affirming thing. But some of them have been turning it for the opposite, which is they send their whole stream, all their audience, over to someone else to just totally crash it and flame them, and just and the people who are there legitimately trying to have fun now just can't. And the streamer just getting all this hate and everything. So Twitch is having a hard time moderating it to work to only be positive and not negative. So here's the conspiracy theory from Josh is that YouTube planted those bots into Twitch.
I wonder if that's true.
That doesn't sound like a very good strategy.
Can I just play like pro conspiracist on all of these? So I want to just be the devil's advocate toward the conspiracy for all these and try to speak on its behalf. So,
all right, go
I mean,
ahead.
it would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense because, YouTube
Twitch has been on the down lately.
Yeah, they're probably at some point we're feeling a little bit intimidated by them. And I know there were some issues with like some big YouTubers leaving YouTube, right? To go to Twitch as like exclusively, right? Wasn't there? Mm-hmm. I feel like I heard some like Phil DeFranco talking about some of that stuff where
there's some deals of those going both directions. Bitter. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's some bitterness happening here. So,
but overall, from what I read like last week, streaming on YouTube is growing, and more creators are favoring YouTube over Twitch for their gaming, for their streaming and stuff. So.
Do you think this has something to do with it?
I don't know if there's a correlation, but I do. But from what I read, it was like 18,000 Twitch streamers are doing the strike for 1 week.
Wow!
So it's not an insignificant number of people.
Yeah, that's cool though. That they're going on strike to say don't do this. Is that what you're getting at?
Right. They're like, we need this to only be a positive thing, not a negative thing. So
that's cool. I mean, either way, if YouTube planted those things, then and now we're seeing the haters or like the people like band together, then YouTube's probably a little bit ticked because they're like, this didn't work how we wanted it to. These people are banding together.
Oh, well, this next one is a doozy. I read it and I was like, I don't even know how to respond to this one. I just hearted it, favorited it, and just called it good. Also from CZ's World on Twitter. Here's one from an anonymous source. The idea that Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, has been able to keep her job so long and through so many disasters because she has dirt on Sergey Brin, who is the founder, CEO of Google, which she learned from her sister who divorced him in 2015.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Where do you go with that?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to respond. Like,
we should call this.
I don't know.
Reacting to conspiracy theories and YouTube drama. Because, wow,
that's intense. But that's accurate.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's no way to verify
like the
that
marriage,
information.
The marriage situation, that's an accurate thing.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably you could probably do a quick Google search and find out. But I know Susan was like, what, the 7th employee of Google or something like that. We're already bigger than 7 employees. Look at that. We're on our way to become the next Google. Yeah, because it was her garage that YouTube or Google started in. Like they rented her garage. And they were eating her food, and she was going to kick them out as renters because they were just eating all her food and not paying for it and throwing off her meal plans and everything.
Like my kids.
And so, but eventually they hired her, but I didn't know that Sergey's ex-wife was Susan's sister.
Okay, if she was the 7th employee of Google and she has
like that, yeah.
That long of a standing with them, that way more explains why she's been able to hold her position than some blackmail she has.
Yeah, and I've heard there's very few people who have the access and rights to just walk in on him without making a meeting, like just show up unannounced to his office and that be acceptable. And she's one of those very, very few people who can do that. So it sounds like there's a relationship there of respect and trust. And it's just a personal one over the years because she was there in the beginning before Google was anything, really. So that seems more plausible to me. But
not near as fun,
there's
though,
this.
Yeah.
What's that thing I have to tell my dad? Like, usually it's the less interesting stories that are true.
I know.
Yep, it is.
Here's one from Colin Michael on Twitter. He says a common conspiracy theory he hears, and I think it's interesting he's calling this a conspiracy theory. I want to hear what you guys think if this is true. YouTube suppresses small creators. Is that a conspiracy theory, or is that true, or what's going on there?
I think YouTube is more prone. Like the reason that we see more big creators get surfaced is because that content is clear to the algorithm that people respond well to that content. But I know that YouTube actually is heavily focused on helping small creators grow. That's a big part. I mean, that was their whole mission from the get-go, was to help anybody, be able to grow in this way. So I think that it takes smaller creators to kind of learn it. The learning curve keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
YouTube.
There's so many skills you need to make it work with production, storytelling, audio, camera equipment, editing, script writing, planning, graphic design with thumbnails, copywriting with titles. I mean, it's a pretty dizzying list that you've got to be really good at.
Yeah.
I can answer my thoughts.
Yeah.
I can answer my thoughts with an illustration. Okay. So
wait, I don't feel like I wrapped up my thought.
Okay.
So
I'm
sorry.
Basically since the learning curve keeps getting bigger, it's not that YouTube is necessarily suppressing the content, but just that the content that they are producing when they're beginning, when they're small, is not at the same level of content that performs well on YouTube. That's what I was trying to say.
Agreed.
Well, I'm gonna say that, preface it by saying that there's a missing element here, which is most of the time when a creator grows, we don't see that growth phase, right? So, for instance, I did a consult with a channel called Tasting History, which I think should be getting close to 1 million subs. But at the time that we did the call, he was working on his stuff. I think he had like 8,000 subscribers. And so we were talking and I just said, hey, something's going to happen. You're doing a lot of things incredibly well. This is really great. I just think you need to kind of hang out. And he was feeling very frustrated, had a lot of these types of comments like, am I being suppressed? What's happening here, etc. So I said, well, I want you to email me when something happens because I think it's going to. And so I went out of the office for the weekend, got back. He had emailed me on Saturday, and this was Monday, and he said, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm over 10,000 subscribers. So he had picked up 2,000 subscribers, and then I emailed him back. I was like, oh, that's great. And he's like, oh, that was Saturday. He's like, as of today, I'm over 20,000. And then he emailed me like 2 days later, he was over 50,000 subscribers. So the point here being that when something picks up, if the channel is doing really well, to Delena's point, where the content is good and it is set up for the channel to grow, it will likely grow quickly. And so we don't see a lot of that middle ground. We only see sort of what most would consider like small or big channels. And I think that kind of has a lot to do with it because, in that time frame, there's only going to be a few, 10,000 people, 20,000, 30,000 people that would see it at a level where it's like, oh, okay, this is small and I'm seeing the growth. It's those early adopters. And so I just don't think we can make that call with a clear picture based on just how things seem to work. That's my thought.
Before we move on to the next one, I just wanted to point out, did a little research here, and Susan's sister Anne did indeed marry Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google. And the thing I thought, the reason I'm sharing this is that they had a super secret ceremony in the Bahamas in 2007, and it was so secret that none of the guests were told the location of the wedding. They were instead all just flown to the Bahamas on a private jet, and they just showed up. And then they were taken by boat to a sandbar where the ceremony was held, and they wore white and black swimsuits for their ceremony. the bride
What's
and
a sand bar? Do they just like serve cups of sand?
But
That's exactly what it is.
there's your
You'll
dad
make
joke.
a great
Nice
dad
job.
someday.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've
And
been
they
trained
did
well by you guys.
And they did
Spending
divorce
all
in
this time in all
2015.
these podcasts.
Yeah,
That's right.
we're rubbing off. I don't think your Starbucks will rub off onto me though. I think that one's pretty well set.
Just give it time.
Yeah, I've given it about
The
25 years
the
so
jean
far.
jackets did. The jean jackets did, Tim.
That's
so.
true. Yeah, I got it right here. I just didn't put it on because I didn't feel enough pressure since Lennon, you don't have yours on.
I know I can't. I got to find it.
All right. This one is from Brett Bristow on Twitter. I think we can do this one pretty quickly. I was talking with someone that just started YouTube and they heard you had to post a daily video for 100 days to be picked up by the algorithm.
That's accurate. That's 100% accurate.
I think this goes really well with the previous one, which is like, is it that you publish 100 video, like you published 100 videos in 100 days? Or is it that you learned some new skills really fast and your content actually got better? You learned to find your voice. You learned how to better talk to your audience. You got better production skills. All that stuff happens because you're just getting your reps in for.
That'd be a really great way to kind of expedite the learning process for sure, which can help you grow faster if you shorten the learning curve. But I don't think it is absolutely not necessary to have to go to that length to grow the skills that you need and get traction.
I did hear that's why these 10,000 workers aren't actually like being heard from, is because they're counting individual people's videos. And as soon as you fall off, if you miss a day in your daily 100 practice, you go back to 0, my friend. You are stricken from the list. So these 10,000 workers are busy.
I think we need to add a new segment to our podcast for Lennon. These are great.
Conspiracies with Lennon.
That's right. Yeah. All right. This one's from The Basement on Twitter. Did you know Twitter has a basement? Apparently, this came from The Basement on Twitter.
The Twitter basement.
Lots of conspiracies in the basement.
I mean, yeah. I'm
That
curious
makes
what
perfect
else is in
sense.
Twitter's basement. He says, they say upload time doesn't matter, but view velocity seems to matter. So which is it? And he puts a laughing emoji. So I think he knows he's being facetious. Upload time doesn't matter. View velocity. Anyone take a quick crack at that one? Is that a
Upload
conspiracy
time
theory,
meaning like
or is that true?
when you upload, or
That's what I took it as. Yeah, time of day.
okay.
Not how long it takes to upload. You see faster internet for that, buddy.
YouTube judges you based on how fast your video uploaded.
I heard that. I heard that's true.
What's the longest you guys have ever
So
spent uploading a
dumb.
video?
Oh my god!
I'll go first. It was 2.5 days. I was traveling.
You got me beat.
And this was this was back like when it might have been more true than that. I don't know, but it was like, if you miss an upload, like your channel's just crashed. I think it was back in like late 2000s or something like that. And so we were traveling, and back then, high-speed internet wasn't as high speed as it was today. And I remember we were staying at a friend's house, and they just had dial-up, and it was really slow. And so I paid the money to do a hotspot on my phone and use the 3G connection to upload this video file that was like 2 gig. And it kept disconnecting, but thankfully YouTube would like resume the upload and not start all over. So as we were there, I just like every few hours would go back down and just try to reconnect through my phone and get that upload going again. And I totally missed the deadline for it anyway, but I remember that. It was a bad experience.
It probably tanked because it took so long. You should
It did.
Judge.
Upload time, it does matter. How about view
You heard
velocity?
it here, guys. You heard it here.
The faster it uploads, I remember when processing it on YouTube's end would take a while. Now it's like ready when it's done,
Yep.
when it's done
So
uploading.
with view velocity, I want to make sure I'm understanding this right. the way that somebody thinks of view velocity, they're talking about how many views you get right away, like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. The theory is that if you get the more views you get in and this is, some people say 24 hours, some people say 48 hours, but the more views you get in the initial, once the video is initially published, the better that video will perform long term. So the entire success of the video rests on how it performs in the first 24 to 48 hours.
Right. Yeah, which is that's totally a conspiracy that I'd love to stand behind.
Well,
but
here's the problem with
in
it.
good conscience, I can't.
There's so many videos that have been on YouTube for a long time that suddenly pop and do really well. You know, I've had that happen to me many times in different situations. You go back and update the title and thumbnail, some of your older content, and it can pop. It can not pop like a balloon, but it can start performing better, right? I'm sorry for all these, you guys. I'm surprised.
Well, that's the crazy thing, though, Tim, is I heard that if your shorts don't do that well, that's the next thing, that YouTube's going to actually have it pop like a balloon and just disappear from the internet.
Shorts. My YouTube shorts have cargo shorts on them.
This reminds me of whenever Lennon did the April Fools, of telling everyone that we found that if you actually wear shorts in your YouTube shorts, then they perform better.
That's science. That's just true.
I hope you guys are getting what you came here for.
I love giving the example of Dr. Anthony Yoon for stuff like this, because whenever I worked with him, big thing is that we were wanting to take his channel to the next level. Like, he had grown to $250,000
when he started.
Yeah, $250,000 about
over 6 years.
Yeah, and then we wanted to take it to the next level, so he did a reaction video for the first time, and it was like plastic surgeon reacting to botch. You guys should definitely look it up because it's a fun video. And he, within the first, I want to say like 5 days that video was up, it tanked. He actually sent me an email and he was like, it's totally tanking. Should we do something? And I was like, just give it time. We're trying something totally new, you know? And sometimes when you try something totally new and you already have an existing audience, YouTube doesn't know what to do with it. It has to find the right viewer.
Because the viewers don't know what to do with it. They're
right,
like,
exactly.
What is this?
And so then by the end of the next week, I believe, it was like 2 weeks in and it had over close to 2 million views on it. So...
And now his channel was at like 2.5 million subscribers or something. And we're not working with him anymore because he's just coasting now. You set him
he's
up.
doing awesome.
Did a good job with that one, Delana.
Thank you.
All right, last one here. This one is from our friend Dan Hines. And he says,
hi, Dan.
If someone clicks a link on Facebook to watch a video on YouTube, it messes up the algorithm on YouTube. So if I was going to summarize that,
I don't see why that wouldn't be true, honestly.
Yeah.
I think people have no idea if we're lying or
I know.
they can't see our faces. They're like, what? I don't know if you're serious or not.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
But are you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yeah, just making sure. Yeah, YouTube doesn't care if the traffic source is for a video, you know? So like if it's from Facebook or whatever. Now, getting someone to click on it in Facebook is another thing. But the traffic source itself
Facebook's going to be more upset about having a YouTube video in there than the other way around.
Absolutely. I will say what it can mess up in your metrics is things like your audience retention graph that will look different because all that kind of gets lumped together. So Facebook users generally tend to watch not as long on YouTube. They're coming from Facebook. And so it can mess with your audience retention graph and kind of give you an unclear look at that. But in terms of how it actually performs within YouTube, YouTube is measuring how it performs from the traffic source, not just how the video performs as a whole, no matter where the viewer came from. So YouTube is measuring, okay, if I show this on a user's homepage, do they respond to the content there? No. Okay, if I show it on suggested videos and it's doing all this at the same time, do they respond there? And it's kind of like tracking all of these things to find where the video belongs.
Right.
But I did want to bring up though that, we've been talking about this idea some of like a viewer, what is the power of a viewer? Like a TikTok viewer is worth, like what is it? Like 4 to 7 TikTok viewers is worth like 1 YouTube subscriber.
25 TikTok subscribers
is worth 1 YouTube subscriber. And what we hear is that if Mark Zuckerberg actually watches your YouTube video on Facebook, you will instantly get 1 million subscribers just
It's
instantaneously.
True.
So
okay.
That's the one
Think
view
about
that
that.
counts.
Yeah, I gotta go to more networking events. Try to shake that guy's hand.
I don't know if he shakes hands. I don't know.
Probably not anymore. That's the awkward part of these events, is it like shake your hand? Most people don't seem to shake hands. They tend to do the fist bump or wave now. So
like the wave like you see at a baseball game?
Totally. Yep, the wave. just by themselves though. No one else around them. Just their arms go up and down and you think they're worshiping you. It's like,
why are you putting both arms up, dude?
Oh my goodness. I really hope you guys got what you came here for. Thanks for having fun.
If not,
silly.
I hope you got a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, before we let you guys go, I have a new thing that we're going to try out for a little bit, see how this goes. And if you guys listening want to leave us a voice message, you can.
Ooh.
You have comments you want to add, you have reactions, you have questions, you have your own conspiracy theories, you have a YouTube tip, actually something valuable that you want to share with people, something helpful.
Comparison to what you heard here.
Or just want to say hi. You can leave a voice message for us and we may use it in an upcoming podcast episode. You can go to speakpipe.com/video creators, or you can just tap the link in the show notes of this episode and do it. But speak, SPEAK, pipe, PIPE.com/video creators and leave it there. And we'd love to actually include more of you guys. There's thousands of you. That's why we keep doing these, because it's working. So there's thousands of you there. We'd love to hear from you guys and use more of you in our content. So
maybe hundreds after this show.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Even Brian, our editor, is like, "Can you guys just stop?" Hi, Brian. Every week, we want to give you just some really practical advice, something you can use right now on your YouTube channel to see better results. Lennon's got this week's power tip for us.
So we recently heard Chris Do from the future talk about, which is a great channel for creators, especially graphic design type people, talk about their experimentation with shorts. And one of the things that they're doing is, instead of feeling like they have to go and make a whole bunch of new content for shorts, they're literally going and starting with their most popular videos, looking for peaks in their audience retention. So trying to find moments in their audience retention graph where people are going back and rewatching those sections and using those as things that they can cut down and create shorts content from. So we think this is a great opportunity to experiment without having to just go out and reinvent the wheel. We would also suggest that, with these videos, can you cut the value of the video down to this just under 60-second mark, and then pitch that if they want to go deeper with the video, to go and join you on the channel. What we're not saying here, for what it's worth, is don't give them a teaser and say like, hey, but if you want to see the answer to this question, go over here. We're not saying that. Give the full value inside the short, and then say, if you want to go more in depth in this topic, you can check it out here. But this is a good opportunity for you guys to just experiment without having to go and make a whole bunch of new content.
Great. Thanks, Lennon. We've got some amazing new episodes coming up for you soon. Next week, we've got an interview with Jelly Smack, their VP there, who's going to talk with us about how can we better optimize our content for different platforms, for how we take our YouTube video, optimize it for Facebook, for TikTok. I'm sorry, I can't laugh. Lennon and Lena are making me laugh. They're doing stuff. And then the week after that, we're going to be talking with someone from Patreon about how to best set up Patreon and introduce it to your audience in a way that makes it really receptive and types of perks and levels. And I have some thoughts on there about Patreon versus YouTube memberships as well. And we will dive all into that stuff and more in the next couple weeks. So thanks for following along. Kevin left us a review on Apple Podcasts recently. We'd love to read it. Thanks. There's another call to action for you. And we will catch up with you again next week for another Video Creators Podcast episode. Thanks, guys. Bye.